My landlord raised my rent, so I bought the building. When my landlord, Greg, raised my rent by $500 overnight, I thought it was a mistake. It wasn't. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "If you can't afford it, move out. There's a waiting list." I'd lived in that apartment for 6 years. Never missed a payment, never complained. I was quiet, polite, the perfect tenant. But Greg, he loved power. He'd swagger around the hallways like he owned people, not just property. That rent hike wasn't about inflation. It was about ego. I remember standing there, holding the new lease with trembling hands, trying to stay calm. He smirked. "It's just business, man. Nothing personal." But it was personal. That night, I sat in my dim kitchen, staring at my laptop, running numbers. I didn't have the money to fight him then, but I decided I'd never let someone like him decide how much peace I could afford. So I started saving. Hard. I picked up a side gig doing freelance IT work. I stopped eating out, sold my car, and biked everywhere. Every month, I put a little more aside, and I started learning everything I could about real estate. Meanwhile, Greg got worse. He replaced friendly neighbors with higher-paying tenants. He bragged about how much passive income he was making. Once I overheard him laughing on the phone. "These suckers pay my mortgage and thank me for it." Yeah, I remembered that line. Fast forward 3 years. I'd moved out by then. Finally found a small condo across town. But I kept tabs on Greg's property through public listings. Turns out he was drowning in debt from a new project. Over-leveraged. Desperate. And when I saw that building, my old building, listed for sale, I knew what I had to do. I teamed up with 2 investors I'd met through my freelance work. We pooled funds, ran the math, and made an offer under an LLC. Greg didn't recognize the name. He just wanted out. Fast. When the deal closed, I didn't even feel excitement. Just quiet, surreal satisfaction. I drove back to the place where I used to live. The same cracked driveway, the same faded for rent sign. And there he was, Greg, standing out front, shaking hands with the broker, oblivious. I walked up with the closing papers in my hand. "Hey, Greg, long time no see." He blinked. "Wait, you're the guy who couldn't afford your rent hike?" "Yeah, that's me." The broker looked confused. Greg just stared, pale as drywall. I smiled and handed him the papers. "You don't need to worry about raising anyone's rent anymore. You're no longer the landlord." His jaw dropped. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. I just turned and walked up the steps, my steps now, and looked out at the courtyard where I used to eat breakfast on Sundays. The next week, he tried to stall the closing paperwork, but everything was airtight, legally, financially, and poetically. A month later, his name was off every record tied to the property. And me? I didn't raise a single rent. I fixed the broken heaters, repainted the hallways, lowered rent for 2 of the tenants Greg had threatened to evict, because this wasn't just revenge, it was restoration. A few weeks later, I got a letter from Greg. Just one line. "You didn't have to humiliate me." I smiled as I folded it. "It's just business, Greg. Nothing personal."